Good day, fellow crafters. Welcome back to the Pixi Dust Designs YouTube channel. I'm Tamara, the card creator, and today we're going to create this super cute card for someone very special. Let's dive into this project. Today's card is going to be from the Shaker Strawberry die cut set from Pixi Dust Designs. This die set is absolutely amazing and jam-packed with so many fun things you could do, from regular strawberries to shaker strawberries to chocolate-covered strawberries. Your world is complete right here. For the sake of time, I've already cut my strawberries out just to make it a little easier for you. Even though you see several strawberries here, we're only going to use 6 of them to create this card. The cardstock may look a little white to your eyes. However, it is a very, very light pink. And what I'm going to do is use a little bit of Catherine Puller inks to create a little bit of a highlight with my light going in from my left side. So I start with a light pink, then I move to a rockin' red just to create a little bit of dimension in my strawberries. That way the color isn't just one color. Now here comes the rockin' red. If you notice, I always tap off the excess of my inks to the top of my lid. That way I'm not wasting my ink and it's there for future use. You can already see these strawberries coming to life with the dimension, with the different shades of pink and reds. Now for the basket. I cut this out of a light brown cardstock, and I'm going to start with my gingerbread ink just to create a little bit of almost like a cardboard box appearance. That's kind of what I have in my mind's eye of what I'm looking for. I also do the base as well, just to create a little bit of shadow. So there's a little bit of dimension to my top of my basket. I'm going to run it through my little crimper. This little machine, or this little tool, I've had for so many years and it never ever gets used. So this was a great way for me to pull it out and use up my old supplies. I also did it to the border or the top of the basket as well, just to create a little bit of dimension. And I did it the opposite direction. So again, it kind of adds a little bit of contrast there for your eyes. I noticed that the bottom of my basket isn't quite dark enough. So I do use macchiato just to darken it up just a hair, just to create a little bit more depth and dimension in my basket. Now on for adhering. I always use Barely Art's liquid glue. This is my go-to glue for anything that I need to use with liquid glue. It gives you just enough wiggle room so you can kind of slide all the pieces into place, which is exactly what I need. Once that's adhered perfectly, I add the top part of my basket, which kind of adds just an extra little something something, which is kind of nice. Now, I'm going to set my basket aside so that the glue can dry firmly. Now for my green. I have a light, almost like a mint color green cardstock that I cut the back of the strawberries with. What we're doing here is creating the seeds that you're going to see with those little holes through the top of the strawberries that I did a moment ago. I start with Martini, then I move to Lime Ricky, then I move to Deck the Halls. And what you want to do for this is you just want to pounce the colors, because that way it kind of like gives you a little bit of dimension. That way everything is not the same color when you look through the holes. Once I'm done with my green, I feel like it needs to be a hair darker in certain spots. So I pull out my espresso and tap that in. Doesn't that look awesome? So again, it doesn't look like just black seeds, but it will also have like little bits of green, light and dark in there as well when you look at the seeds of the strawberries. Oh, actually, it was s'mores ink. I think I said espresso, but it was s'mores. Excuse me. Now I set those aside to dry, and I'm going to do the leaves of my strawberries. I start with the top leaves first, and I start with the martini, cover it almost to the ends. I leave just a little bit of that green cardstock showing, very, very little. Then lime Ricky. Then deck the hulls, only in the center. Now I set those aside to dry, and I go to the bottom layer of leaves, or the bigger leaves in this case. Again, martini ink, lime Ricky, deck the hulls, making sure to get that stem complete. I set those aside to dry while I work on the strawberry bases. I adhere the red part of the strawberry to my seed base, or the green and brown base that we did earlier for our seeds. Again, using Barely Arts glue, just a couple little drops here and there is all you need. Set those aside, do that to all 6 strawberries, put a block on it so that those have time to adhere. By now, my leaves should be good and dry, and I'm going to adhere the small on top of the large, only gluing it right in the center. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to puff up those leaves, the top parts of the leaves here momentarily, just to give it a little bit of dimension when you look at it. I add the glue only to the center, not the whole thing, because again, I'm going to pop them up, as you see here. It takes just a moment to do, but I feel like it adds so much to your die cuts. Just this one little step. Now, I'm going to kind of see where my strawberries will fit the best in the basket. I'm going to start with the right side and then work across to the left. I'm going to add a little bit of that Barely Arts glue to just part of the strawberry, the lower half of the strawberry, just so I can adhere it to the basket. Then the next strawberry, I'm going to adhere to the basket and the strawberry that I just laid down. And then on to the third, and so forth, until I have 5 strawberries in my basket. So it makes it look like it's a complete basket. So again, I'm using odd numbers here inside of my basket, with my 6th strawberry going to be outside of the basket. Once all my strawberries are securely adhered, I want to add a little bit of foam dimension to the back of my basket and strawberries. That way, they're going to pop off of my card. I do this by using Altenews foam pads. This is the best foam ever. It's so easy to cut should you need a cut, and it kind of gives just the right height. Recently, Altenews did come out with some additional foam strips, so I'm anxious to try those as well. I also add foam to my single strawberry, and again, this strawberry will go outside of the basket. With one of my border dies, I had this cute green plaid paper that I thought would be perfect just to kind of bring those strawberries to life. So I did use the border die at the bottom, and the excess I just used at the top, just so it kind of completed everything. I had this sentiment from my stash, "I miss you very much," and I thought it would be the perfect accent to add to this card. Now, bottom or top? Decisions. Bottom it shall be. I always do like a little dry run first, so I want to see how everything's going to look before I actually adhere it. I may be the only person that does this, not really sure, but I always kind of just play around just to say, okay, is this pleasing to my eyes? Because if it is, it's probably going to be pleasing to somebody else. And then to make sure I have it centered correctly, I just lay my die cut piece on top just to make sure it's going to be perfect before I do the actual stamping. Now with the stamping, I love my VersaFine Clair Onyx Nocturne ink. This is the best ink for fine details. Now you'll notice that I don't smush my sentiment. I do almost like little chest compressions, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then that way you don't get it smearing or smudging, which can totally ruin when you have those fine details on your sentiments. Now, on to adhering my strawberry basket to my card base. I pull my adhesive off of the back of the foam tape and add a little bit more Barely Arts glue. And the reason you do this is because those foam adhesives, if you put it down and you don't like where it's at, too bad, because it is stuck on there. But if you add the Barely Arts glue, you can kind of wiggle it around for just a few seconds, probably 30 seconds or so, which gives you more than enough time to put it where you want it to be. You'll notice I fluff up those leaves one more time, which again adds so much to these little strawberries. And I add that final little strawberry there. How cute is this card? Thank you very much for watching me today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more crafting tips, design ideas, and fun tutorials. As always, click the bell icon so you never miss out on the latest content. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.